Ladies and gentlemen, you know what's funny? The world loves people who act important. People walking around like they're the hero of every story, the main character, the chosen one. Crown, they wanted attention. They wanted applause. They wanted the spotlight. But then, you walked in, skullfire, and suddenly the room got quieter. Not because you begged for validation, but because real power never needs to scream. See, clowns perform to be noticed. Legends change the atmosphere just by existing. They called themselves the main character, but every story has a moment where the real force arrives. The one who doesn't follow the script, the one who rewrites it. Smiling face with horns today, I'm here to talk about that person. The person who turns pressure into power, pain into fuel, and doubt into domination. The person who changes everything the moment they enter the game. People today are obsessed with looking powerful instead of becoming powerful. Everywhere you look, someone is trying to prove they matter. Social media is full of people performing confidence like it's a costume. Loud voices, fake smiles, forced luxury, non-stop posting, and endless validation seeking have become the new definition. Ion of success. Everyone wants to appear untouchable. Everyone wants to look like the main character. But the truth is, fake confidence is fragile. It depends on attention to survive. The moment the applause disappears, so does the mask. Real presence is completely different. It doesn't beg to be seen. It doesn't chase approval. It doesn't need to announce itself every 5 minutes. Real presence enters the room quietly, yet somehow changes the energy of everyone inside it. You can feel it without a single word being spoken. That kind of power cannot be bought, copied, filtered, or faked. It is built through struggle, discipline, silence, pain, and self-respect. Fake confidence is loud because it's insecure. People who constantly try to prove they are important are usually fighting battles inside themselves. They fear being ignored. They fear being ordinary. They fear not being enough. So they create a character for the world to admire. They wear confidence like makeup, hoping nobody notices the cracks underneath. But pressure exposes everything. The moment life gets difficult, fake confidence collapses because it was built on appearance, not foundation. Real presence comes from surviving things nobody knows about. It comes from nights where you fought your own mind and still woke up stronger the next day. It comes from being doubted, rejected, underestimated, and betrayed, yet refusing to break. A person with real presence does not need to dominate conversations because their actions already speak for them. They don't waste time convincing people of their worth because they already know who they are. There's a reason why the quietest person in the room is sometimes the most dangerous one. They observe. They calculate. They understand things others miss because they are not distracted by trying to impress everyone. Fake confidence focuses on being noticed. Real presence focuses on becoming unforgettable. The world trains people to chase attention. From a young age, people are taught to seek validation from classmates, followers, friends, and strangers. Many people become addicted to approval without even realizing it. They shape their personality around what gets applause instead of what builds character. But approval is temporary. Attention fades quickly. Trends die. Crowds move on. And when the spotlight disappears, many people are left alone with a version of themselves they never truly developed. That is why real presence is rare. It requires honesty. It requires discipline. It requires becoming comfortable without recognition. Most people want rewards before effort. They want respect before sacrifice. They want influence before growth. But true presence is earned in silence, long before anyone notices it. Think about the people who truly command respect. They don't usually walk into rooms trying to dominate everyone. They don't need to remind people how strong, rich, smart, or successful they are. Their energy speaks before their mouth does. Their confidence feels calm, controlled, and grounded. That kind of presence comes from certainty within yourself, not from reactions outside yourself. Fake confidence also depends heavily on comparison. People constantly measure themselves against others to feel superior. They need someone beneath them to feel valuable. That's why insecure people love showing off. They crave reactions because reactions become proof that they matter. But real presence does not compete for attention. It competes only with yesterday's version of itself. There is something terrifying about a person who, no longer needs validation. A person who has suffered enough to stop caring about fitting in becomes unpredictable. They stop performing. They stop pretending. They stop chasing approval. And that is when their true power begins to appear. Real presence is built in moments nobody celebrates. Early mornings when nobody is watching. Failures nobody understands. Sacrifices nobody applauds. Discipline nobody notices. While others are busy creating appearances, people with real presence are creating substance. One is temporary. The other becomes permanent. The loudest people often hide the weakest foundations. They confuse noise with strength, but storms are loud too, and they disappear quickly. Mountains stay silent while standing unshaken for centuries. That is the difference between fake confidence and real presence. One depends on the world's attention. The other creates impact even in silence. When someone with real presence walks into a room, people notice without understanding why. It's not always about looks, money, or status. It's about energy. It's about certainty. It's about self-control. The world is used to performers, so authenticity becomes intimidating, generative. Ion addicted to pretending, being real becomes rare power. The world has become addicted to noise. Everyone wants to speak first, speak louder, and speak the most. People interrupt conversations just to prove they exist. They post every achievement, every emotion, every opinion, hoping someone reacts to it. Society has convinced people that the loudest voice automatically becomes the strongest voice. But real power has never worked that way. Silence has always carried a different kind of strength, one that doesn't need permission, attention, or applause. Most people talk too much because they are uncomfortable with silence. Silence forces people to face themselves. It exposes insecurity, fear, and emptiness. That is why many people fill every moment with words, distractions, and noise. They think constant talking creates influence, but often it reveals desperation. Someone who truly knows their worth does not feel the need to explain themselves every second. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates attention. When a person speaks less, people naturally listen more carefully when they finally do speak. Their words carry weight because they are not wasted. In contrast, people who talk nonstop slowly lose impact. Their voice becomes background noise because they have trained others to stop valuing what they say. There is something intimidating about a calm person who remains silent under pressure. While others panic, react emotionally, or seek validation, the silent person observes everything. They understand that not every battle deserves a response. Not every insult deserves anger. Not every opinion deserves energy. That level of control confuses people because society expects emotional reactions. Silence breaks expectations. Many people mistake silence for weakness because they only understand loud forms of confidence. They believe strength means dominating conversations, arguing aggressively, or constantly proving superiority. But real strength often appears in restraint. Anyone can explode with emotion. Anyone can scream when angry. Anyone can react impulsively. It takes discipline to remain composed when chaos surrounds you. Silence also reveals intelligence. Observers learn more than performers. While loud people focus on being noticed, silent people focus on understanding. They notice body language, tone changes, hidden intentions, and emotion. Patterns others completely miss. They collect information while everyone else wastes energy trying to impress each other. Knowledge becomes power when combined with patience. The strongest individuals in history were not always the loudest in the room. Many leaders, strategists, and visionaries understood the value of silence. They spoke carefully because they knew words can either build authority or destroy it. A person who controls their tongue usually controls their emotions, and emotional control is one of the rarest forms of power in the modern world. Social media has made silence even more rare. People feel pressure to constantly announce their lives to strangers. Every success must be posted. Every thought must be shared. Every moment must become content. Many people are no longer living for themselves. They are performing for invisible audiences. Silence feels uncomfortable to them because attention has become addictive. But the people who move differently understand something important. Not everything valuable needs to be displayed. Some goals grow better in private. Some pain heals better in silence. Some victories become stronger without public validation. Quiet group often produces the loudest results later. Silence can also protect you. The more people know about your plans, emotions, and weaknesses, the more power they gain over you. Loud people expose themselves constantly without realizing it. They reveal insecurities through over-explaining. They reveal jealousy through gossip. They reveal fear through arrogance. But silence keeps your energy protected. It gives others less control over your emotions. There is a difference between silence caused by fear and silence created by confidence. Fearful silence avoids speaking because of insecurity. Confident silence chooses peace over unnecessary noise. One comes from weakness. The other comes from control. A truly powerful person does not feel pressure to prove intelligence in every argument or dominance in every conversation. Some of the most respected people are remembered not because they spoke endlessly, but because every word they said carried meaning. Their silence created anticipation. Their calmness created authority. People trusted them because they did not react emotionally to every situation. Silence also exposes other people. When you stop over-explaining yourself, manipulative. Everyone becomes uncomfortable because they can no longer control your reactions easily. When you stop responding emotionally, toxic people lose access to your energy. Calm silence forces others to reveal their own character. The modern world fears silence because silence creates self-awareness. It slows people down enough to think deeply. And deep thinking often destroys fake identities. Many people stay busy and loud because they are running from themselves. They fear what they might discover if everything became quiet for a moment. A person who masters silence develops a powerful presence. They walk into rooms without forcing attention, yet people still notice them. Their calmness stands out in a world full of noise. Their restraint becomes more powerful than another person's performance. While others seek importance through volume, they create impact through control. Silence speaks louder than attention because attention is temporary, but presence is unforgettable. Most people spend their entire lives following scripts they never wrote. From childhood, society hands people a blueprint for who they should become, how they should behave, what success should look like, and what dreams are considered acceptable. People are taught to fit in before they are taught to think independently. They learn how to obey systems, chase approval, and avoid standing out. Slowly, without realizing it, many people stop living as individuals and start living as copies. Following is comfortable because it removes responsibility. When you follow the crowd, you never have to face the fear of being different. You can hide inside trends, opinions, and expectations created by others. If things go wrong, you blame society, circumstances, or luck. But the moment you decide to rewrite your own story, everything changes. Suddenly, every decision becomes your responsibility. Every risk becomes personal. Every failure becomes a lesson no one else can carry for you. That is why so few people truly lead their own lives. Most people fear judgment more than regret. They stay trapped inside routines they hate because at least those routines feel familiar. They silence their ideas because they fear criticism. They shrink themselves to fit environments that were never designed for their growth. They choose safety over potential and comfort over transformation. The world rewards obedience early but remembers originality forever. Followers may blend into the crowd temporarily, but the people who change history are always the ones who refuse to accept the script given to them. Every major breakthrough, every revolution, every iconic figure began with someone deciding that the old story was no longer enough. Rewriting your story starts with questioning everything you were taught to believe about yourself. Many people carry invisible limits created by family expectations, school systems, social pressure, or past failures. They repeat phrases like "I'm not talented enough," "I'm too late," or "people like me never succeed." Over time, these beliefs become mental prisons. The dangerous part is that people stop questioning them because they hear them so often. A person who rewrites the story understands that identity is not fixed. Your past may explain you, but it does not have to define you. Pain does not have to become weakness. Failure does not have to become your final chapter. Every powerful transformation begins the moment someone decides to stop accepting the version of themselves built by fear. Following the crowd also kills creativity. When everyone is chasing the same approval, wearing the same masks, and repeating the same opinions, individuality disappears. People become terrified of standing alone, even when standing alone is exactly what growth requires. But every meaningful path begins with separation. You cannot create something extraordinary while thinking exactly like everyone else. The people who rewrite stories are often misunderstood at first. Society usually attacks what it cannot immediately understand. Dreamers are called unrealistic. Quiet thinkers are called strange. Ambitious people are called arrogant. Independent minds are treated like threats because they remind others of the risks they were too afraid to take themselves. That is why rewriting your story requires courage. Not movie-style courage filled with dramatic moments, but real courage, the ability to continue despite doubt, criticism, loneliness, and uncertainty. Real courage means betting on yourself before anyone else believes in you. It means continuing when results are invisible. It means staying loyal to your vision even when people mock it. Most people wait for permission to become who they truly want to be. They wait for support, validation, or performance. Exact timing, but permission never arrives. Life does not suddenly announce that you are ready. The people who change their lives are the ones who move before confidence fully appears. Action creates belief, not the other way around. Rewriting the story also means breaking old patterns. You cannot create a new future while repeating the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, and surrounding yourself with the same negativity. Growth demands separation from versions of yourself that no longer serve your future. Sometimes the hardest part is not fighting the world, but fighting the comfort of your old identity. There is also a painful truth many people avoid. If you do not write your own story, someone else will write it for you. Society will decide your worth. Other people's opinions will shape your confidence. Fear will make your decisions. And years later, many people wake up realizing they lived according to expectations they never truly wanted. The strongest people are not always the most talented or the luckiest. Often they are simply the ones who stopped following paths designed by others. They understood that greatness requires individuality. They accepted the loneliness through. It comes with becoming different. While others searched for approval, they searched for purpose. A person who rewrites the story becomes dangerous because they stop living reactively. They stop allowing circumstances to control their identity. Instead of asking, "What does the world expect from me?" they begin asking, "What am I capable of becoming?" That single shift changes everything. Followers wait for opportunities to appear. Story rewriters create opportunities from pressure, setbacks, rejection, and chaos. They stop seeing obstacles as proof to quit and start seeing them as material for transformation. While others remain trapped inside excuses, they build new versions of themselves through discipline, resilience, and vision. The world is full of people repeating stories written by fear. Very few have the courage to pick up the pen and create something entirely their own. Pressure reveals people. The moment life becomes difficult, masks begin to crack. Some people collapse under stress, some run away from responsibility, and some search for excuses to protect their ego. But there is another type of person, the one who becomes stronger when pressure increases. The one who transforms pain into discipline, fear into focus, and struggle into power. Pressure does not destroy them. It creates them. Most ordinary people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They seek convenience, safety, and easy paths because comfort feels good in the moment. But comfort has a hidden cost. It weakens ambition, reduces resilience, and slowly kills growth. Nothing extraordinary is built inside easy environments. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. And powerful people are created through difficult experiences that force them to evolve. The reason pressure changes people so dramatically is because it removes illusions. In calm moments, almost anyone can appear confident. Anyone can talk about goals when life is easy. Anyone can pretend to be strong when nothing challenges them. But pressure tests character in ways comfort never can. It exposes weaknesses, insecurities, habits, and mental limits. People try to hide from the world. That is why pressure becomes dangerous for ordinary minds, but transformative for disciplined minds. Weak people panic because they focus on the pain itself. Strong people adapt because they focus on growth hidden. Inside the pain, one asks, "Why is this happening to me?" The other asks, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every powerful person carries scars created by pressure. Nobody becomes mentally strong through endless comfort. Strength comes from surviving moments that could have broken you. Rejection teaches resilience. Failure teaches adjustment. Loneliness teaches independence. Betrayal teaches awareness. Pressure forces people to discover abilities they would never uncover in easy situations. Most people underestimate their own potential because they have never truly been tested. Human beings often discover their deepest strength only when life removes every other option. When survival becomes necessary, hidden power begins to appear. The person who once doubted themselves suddenly develops focus, discipline, and endurance they never knew existed. Pressure also separates performers from real warriors. Some people only look confident when conditions are favorable. The moment challenges appear, their energy disappears. But dangerous individuals become calmer under stress. While others react emotionally, they become sharper. While others complain, they adjust. They understand that pressure is not punishment, it is preparation. There is a reason successful athletes, soldiers, entrepreneurs, and leaders train under extreme conditions. Pressure teaches control. It forces the mind to function beyond comfort zones. It builds emotional endurance. A person who learns to remain focused while everything around them becomes chaotic gains, an advantage most people never develop. The modern world has made many people mentally weak because it constantly offers escape routes from discomfort. The moment something feels difficult, people distract themselves. Instead of facing pain, they avoid it through entertainment, excuses, or temporary pleasure. But avoided pressure does not disappear. It grows silently over time. And eventually life forces everyone to confront challenges whether they are ready or not. The people who become dangerous are usually the ones who stopped running from pressure. Instead of avoiding difficult moments, they use those moments as training. Every setback became fuel. Every failure became information. Every obstacle became proof that they were evolving into someone stronger. Pressure also changes perspective. Small problems stop mattering and you survive bigger battles. Criticism loses power when life has already tested you harder than people's opinions ever could. A person who has survived real pain no longer fears temporary discomfort. They become harder to intimidate because pressure has already strengthened their mind. One of the most powerful transformations happens when a person realizes they can survive more than they once believed possible. That realization changes confidence completely. It no longer comes from fake motivation or outside validation. It comes from evidence. Evidence built through survival, discipline, and adaptation. Pressure can either break identity or rebuild it stronger. Weak minds allow struggle to convince them they are victims. Strong minds use struggle to create a new version of themselves. The same fire that melts weak material strengthens steel. The difference is not the pressure itself, it is the mindset facing it. People often admire confidence without understanding where real confidence comes from. Genuine confidence is not created through compliments or success alone. It is created through overcoming difficult situations repeatedly. Every challenge survived becomes proof that you can handle more. Every painful experience becomes another layer of mental armor. Pressure also destroys arrogance. It humbles people quickly. Under real stress, fake confidence disappears and raw character becomes visible. That is why difficult experiences often create wiser people. They stop underestimating life. They stop overestimating comfort. They understand that survival requires discipline, adaptability, and emotional control. The people who become extraordinary are rarely born extraordinary. They are shaped by pressure over time. While ordinary people search for easier lives, dangerous people search for growth hidden inside difficulty. They understand something most people never fully realize. Pressure is not the enemy of greatness. It is the environment where greatness is created. Some people enter a room and nobody notices. Others walk in, and the entire atmosphere changes without them saying a single word. Conversations shift, attention moves, energy transforms. It is not always because of looks, money, fame, or status. Sometimes it is something deeper, a presence built through pain, discipline, confidence, and self-awareness. The moment certain people arrive, everyone else stays. Everything changes because they carry an energy the world cannot ignore. Most people spend their lives trying to fit into environments instead of transforming them. They adjust their personality to be accepted. They shrink themselves to avoid judgment. They become followers of whatever energy already exists around them. But powerful individuals do the opposite. They bring their own atmosphere. They do not absorb the room's energy, they influence it. There is a difference between someone who seeks attention and someone who naturally commands it. Attention seekers chase reactions constantly. They become louder, flashier, and more dramatic because they fear being invisible. But people with true presence do not force themselves into the spotlight. The spotlight moves toward them naturally because authenticity creates gravity. The reason certain people change environments is because they have changed themselves first. Presence is not built overnight. It is created through experiences most people never see. Long periods of struggle, silent battles, self-discipline, emotional control, sacrifices nobody applauds. Every difficult experience shapes the energy a person carries into the world. People can feel when someone has survived pain. There is a calmness, sharpness, and seriousness that cannot be faked. A person who has faced darkness and still remains standing develops a different aura. They stop seeking validation because survival already taught them their worth. They stop fearing judgment because life has already tested them harder than opinions ever could. That is why confidence built through struggle feels different from confidence built through appearance. One disappears under pressure. The other becomes stronger because pressure created it. When someone enters a room carrying real confidence, people notice instinctively. Human beings are naturally drawn towards certainty and strength. Many people think changing the room means dominating everyone loudly, but true influence often works quietly. Sometimes the most impactful person is the calmest one. While everyone else competes for attention, they remain controlled. While others perform, they observe. Their silence becomes more powerful than another person's noise. Presence also comes from purpose. A person without direction feels scattered. Their energy becomes uncertain because they are constantly seeking, getting approval from outside sources. But someone who knows exactly who they are and what they stand for moves differently. Their actions become intentional. Their body language changes. Their voice becomes calmer. Their decisions become stronger. People underestimate how much energy they communicate without words. Fear, insecurity, jealousy, desperation, confidence, discipline, and peace all become visible through behavior. That is why two people can say the exact same sentence, yet one feels powerful, while the other feels forgettable. Presence speaks before words ever do. The modern world has created millions of people trying to be seen, but very few trying to become unforgettable. Social media rewards performance over substance. People carefully create images designed to attract temporary attention. But temporary attention is not the same as lasting impact. Real presence does not depend on filters, trends, or validation. It survives even when everything external disappears. When someone with strong presence walks into a room, they often make insecure people uncomfortable. Their confidence exposes weakness in others. Their calmness exposes chaos in others. Their authenticity exposed. They are fake personalities around them. People who are deeply insecure often react negatively to powerful energy because it reminds them of the strength they have not built within themselves. Changing the room also means changing standards. Strong individuals raise expectations naturally. Their discipline influences others. Their mindset challenges excuses. Their ambition creates pressure on average thinking. Even without trying, they force people to become more aware of their own limitations. There is also danger in underestimating quiet transformation. Sometimes people laugh at someone before their growth becomes visible. They judge based on current circumstances without realizing the person is evolving silently. Then one day, everything changes. The same person they ignored suddenly becomes impossible to overlook. Confidence replaces hesitation. Focus replaces confusion. Strength replaces insecurity. The most dangerous transformations usually happen in silence. While the world sleeps on them, certain individuals are rebuilding themselves mentally, emotionally, and physically. They are sharpening discipline, healing pain, learning from failure, and preparing for moments nobody sees. Calming. Then eventually they walk back into the world carrying a completely different energy. People often ask why some individuals naturally dominate environments without forcing anything. The answer is simple. Identity creates presence. Someone who fully believes in themselves moves differently. They stop chasing acceptance. They stop shrinking to fit smaller spaces. They stop apologizing for ambition, intelligence, or growth. The moment you truly know your value, your entire presence changes. Your posture changes. Your voice changes. Your focus changes. You stop entering rooms hoping people notice you and start entering rooms knowing exactly what you bring with you. And once a person reaches that level of self-belief, discipline, and emotional control, their arrival stops being ordinary. The atmosphere shifts because certainty is rare in a world full of insecurity.